She said she had no money, but he was in doubt. He told her I used to be in too, but now he was out. Spare some small change, lady, and I'll be on my way. He said, I'm not a homeless man, I'm a gypsy by trade and a traveling businessman. I'm not a homeless man. He moved through the streets with his head bent low, never thinking he would never see that woman again, you know, just sleeping in the doorways.
Come back and be a part of this. Harry and I have known each other for a while. I'm part of a few different groups, part of the Fullerton Collaborative, lead the subcommittee in Fullerton on homelessness. Obviously, I'm executive director of Pathways of Hope. I have only about a 10-year career in homeless issues. I've known Kate forever. I've known Tim for a long time too. Most of my work has been at different agencies. I served as a funder for a long time for United Way, and have served on a million subcommittees as part of the original CES working group, which nobody throw anything at me, but we've always done the best we can with coordinated entry. But you know, here today, I think mostly to talk about our prospective permanent supportive housing project that we are trying to get off the ground in Fullerton. What Pathways of Hope's involvement has been and what our plans are with respect to trying to accelerate the Association of California Cities Orange County plan to build 2,700 permanent supportive housing units, which Bill touched on earlier and has obviously been an integral part of. My thinking has always been that you need an entry point of shelter that's good and solid, and Bill's plan is a great example of that. And on the back end, you cannot end homelessness without keys, a front door, and a lease in somebody's home to call their own. That's always been my motto, my philosophy about how you move someone from experiencing homelessness to being housed. So I went to the City of Fullerton and I said, this is what we want to do. Pathways of Hope has been in the community for 43 years, providing shelter services, permanent supportive housing services, prevention services, everything under the sun with respect to homeless services. But I think we can do it better, and I think one big step we could take to do it better is to be an actual agent of solving homelessness in the Fullerton area, and that would be to build a substantial amount of housing and units for people who qualify for permanent supportive housing and need that opportunity. The city came back to me with different parcels of land to go look at. Some of them are untenable for various reasons. It sits at 1600 West Commonwealth. Everyone here knows the Hunt Library, the complications with the Fullerton Armory, and the things that have transpired there over the years. 1600 Commonwealth sits in kind of this nook between Commonwealth and the railroad tracks adjacent to Grace Ministries Church on Brookhurst. The Hunt Library, obviously. The Armory is a little bit further out. And then across Commonwealth, there's a neighborhood of kind of medium-priced homes. It's kind of bordered by these different sort of configurations. A lot of first-time buyers are in that neighborhood and things like that. So with Fullerton's blessing, we moved forward with trying to secure with the city an exclusive negotiating agreement so that this particular parcel, this particular property, Pathways of Hope and the city can negotiate a price and then could work on entitlements. As Bill will testify, I'm sure it is very hard to start that process when this land is locked up, and this was a way of us locking up the land. The parcel of land sits in a very odd, interesting triangular shape. It's the former Morehouse mustard plant, if anyone remembers that on Commonwealth. So the parcel is kind of oddly shaped, but it works. It's flat. The soils have been tested. Environmentals have been done several times because it was supposed to be a multifamily project back in the early 2000s. And as a lot of you know, when the recession hit, buildings stopped in Orange County essentially. So the projects that were supposed to happen there weren't happening. So it's been sitting vacant essentially as a city yard with just gravel and some trucks parked on it and some building supplies. There's like some old picnic tables on it. So for us, it's a perfect opportunity. It's bordered on three sides by either a municipality, railroad tracks, or nothing because of the point it comes to. So what happened is, as so often the case, I heard someone use the word NIMBY earlier. Who was that? Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I just got back from the National Conference on Homelessness, and we substituted NIMBY for something else. So let's go from NIMBY to banana. Okay. Build absolutely nothing, anywhere, never, anytime, right? Nowhere, anytime. Like, that's really what it is. It's not just not in my backyard, it's nowhere we want this kind of stuff, right? And so I think that that's actually some of the opposition we face. So those folks ended up finding out that there was going to be a city council meeting and that this E&A was on the agenda. We actually had it on the consent calendar, which obviously, for those of you who know, is just kind of like a rubber stamp type thing. And the feedback and the pushback that day to the city was so great, they called me and said, hey David, we can't do a consent anymore, we have to have open hearing about this. I'm like, cool, really? Okay, rally the troops. We got about 20, 25 people come out speak in support. They had about 40. And the vitriol in the room, Tim, were you there that night? It was palpable, right?
Yeah.
I went back up there to speak after all this so they could ask me more questions, and they were behind me, jeering me, and booing me, and hissing at me. And so we lost that first hearing. So that first hearing basically went 3-2. We had Jesus Silva and Jennifer Fitzgerald voted to move forward with the ENA. Bruce Whitaker was a solid no. Greg Seaborn gave us some advice, but still voted no. And Doug Chafee, although in the voice of the OC that morning, he had said it was going to pass. That's right, he had said that. He ended up voting no because of the toxic nature of what was going on in the room, to quote. Anyway, so after that meeting, or after that vote, Greg Seaborn put it up for a continuance to fall and said, basically, you need to go back, educate the community on what's happening, hold some community meetings, talk to them about what you're trying to do, because they think it's a shelter, right? They think people are going to be walking up with their stuff, and all these things. And of course, we felt like we made a pretty good case that what we were doing was building apartments, which is much different. But they still thought it was a shelter, a walk-up center, what have you. So I said, okay, all right, I understand. So the continuance passed 3-0. Jesus and Jennifer abstained because they were kind of upset that the thing didn't pass to begin with. And so here we are. So we're at the aftermath of this meeting. We have a building partner already, CNC Development. Some of you may know them. They do a lot of affordable housing in Orange County. They have thousands of units in Orange County and the Inland Empire. And they do beautiful work and are highly reputable and just create a great product for people to live. But the truth of the matter is, we as an agency have tried in good faith to talk about what we're trying to do and try to get it across that it's a solution to the issue you're facing. The ACCOC plan says Fullerton will be on the hook for 127 units. The truth is, we know when the North Spa census comes out, and the numbers are official, it's probably going to be a lot more people that are tethered to Fullerton that are counting. So we need to take a chunk out of that, and that's been our thing all along, is we can do that with this site if we can move forward with it. So engage the community, take lots of questions, get called lots of names. 2 weeks ago, Jesus Silva, on his own accord, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, put together a van tour of some of these residents in that community and said, hey guys, let's get in this van and let's go out and see some supportive housing sites, which I thought was a great idea. It's something we had been planning to do. We were going to run actually a bus. So in a sign of good faith, and the reason I'm relating some of these stories for you is because where this group can be the most powerful is your voices. And that is going to be my ask. I will get there eventually, trust me, but Harry's heard me do this whole thing a couple times. The reality is that this group is very powerful when you get in front of a group of people and you talk about what you want. People listen and know who you are. And I know that because I do this work and I hear people talk about it. Okay, no problem. So it ends up being a couple city staff, Jill Rapolgo from KPCC, Jesse Latour from the Fullerton Observer, and Kelsey Brewer from ACCOC all show up. And essentially, basically at every single site, a group of them within the van would basically argue about tax dollars and where are these people going to come from, and really kind of made an uncomfortable situation for pretty much everyone involved. I know because they're all texting while they're doing this, going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to us right now. And really took some people to task unnecessarily who are just trying to end homelessness for the community and what we know is the best way possible. So, I say all that because, as I mentioned before, right now we sit at this kind of interesting place where, does anyone know what's happening the first week of November?
Elections.
Does anyone know who's running for supervisor in this local area?
Doug Chafee.
Doug Chafee. And?
Ran on a platform.
So, the interesting kind of place we find ourselves is that with all this momentum, so AB 448 got out of the today, which is amazing. So that is a huge step forward in codifying that as law, getting it to a full vote and making sure and getting it on the governor's desk, making sure that we have that housing money coming down, that we can raise that $1 billion, and that we can get this done. In hindsight, you can question the tactic and the strategy about going first in an election year and really trying to push this up hard prior to an election. I liken it to fortune favors the bold, right? So if we don't go hard in the paint, if we don't make our best efforts and take our opportunities when we have them, we will not get anything done. So we seized on an opportunity and went hard in the paint to use the basketball term to try to make this happen. So we don't know where we sit right now. Right now, I have been told by certain players and folks in this kind of swirling vortex of stuff that on September 17th or 18th, whenever the city council meeting is that week, we have a pretty good chance of getting this done. But it's not for sure. So some of the discussion is, well, should we wait till next year when the new city council is seated? We don't know, because we don't know what that looks like either. So, I'm here today to ask for all of your support in this endeavor. I have here a bunch of flyers for our upcoming community meetings. One is this Wednesday. I'll hand these out now. Our primary mission right now is to flip a vote. It's to flip a vote to get a 3-2 vote, so we can move forward with an exclusive negotiating agreement so that we can then get funding to build these apartments. Building 60 units of permanent supportive housing is a $30 million endeavor. 32, maybe $34 million. That's what our pro forma is signing out to right now. That first step, none of that matters. Nothing keeps me up as far as the money goes, the resources go, any of that stuff. That will all fall into place. I have no doubt about it. What keeps me up at night is the singular vote of a city council person that can make or break the ability to save the lives of 60 people. A lot of you know that I go to the homeless memorial thing. We hung out all day, some of us, and that idea that we buried 202 people in Orange County last year. Okay, that is why I do this work. Okay, that is why I'm here today.
My perspective, damn it.